Now for this session, and this is the one where everybody could say something for probably a week. But I personally think the pandemic and the disruptions, they were just the final nail in the coffin for something that was going on for a lot longer. And what I mean by that is, over the last decades and still to this day, the world and all the economies get more and more globalized. And with that, the supply chains grow and they get more and more complex. And I think even before the pandemic, it reached a point where it was so chaotic, there were so many steps within these supply chains that even a small disruption could have brought the whole system down. Now, obviously, with the pandemic, this was a huge incident. This was a global pandemic. Nobody could have seen it coming. But it made it very clear that the complexity of the supply chains outgrew what companies could manage and keep going. And I think what we're seeing now and what we are reading, and people are talking about this in interviews, is that the trend of like offshoring, globalization is slowly turning back a little. So companies are now starting trends like regionalization, onshoring, nearshoring. So they try to bring their supply chains back closer to where the customers or their markets are, so that they would be less affected in case of disruptions. And that's, I think, what the pandemic really did. It made it very obvious to even the very last person or manager who tried to hold on to this extreme trend of racing to the bottom, lowest cost. And I think it's not how it should be. It's not manageable with the complexity. And I personally, I like that the trend reversed it. Obviously, I didn't like the pandemic and everything that happened, but I much prefer to have supply chains regionalized or local to the area where things are sourced or sold, either of those two. So yeah, even when I at some point finish my master's degree and I hopefully get to manage one or a couple of supply chains, I will try to push regionalization, nearshoring, onshoring to strengthen local communities. And that's also a plan of building resilience within a supply chain. If your transport ways are shorter in time and in geographical distance. So yeah,